Hello, everyone. Um, this is an answer to Frosty. He'd bought a silver round, has a very similar design on it that this copper one has, and that's why I told him I'd buy a silver round like that. This is a large copper. I mean, it's a bit smaller than a Morgan dollar, but not a lot. By the way, this was bought for the Treasure Chest Challenge Friday, along with a couple of walkers. But today I go to my other coin dealer, and he kind of handed this to me right off the bat because he knows I like Churchill coins. I've got a pretty good sized stack of these now, and yeah, I don't have a whole lot out on the table right now, but I did get this in my change, and I started thinking about this. These were Christopher Columbus's ships that he sailed across towards what he thought was East Asia's Indies. I mean, sorry, and but that's not what he ended up discovering. Lock in on there. Now, sometimes this phone is not making me real happy. But if you get this close enough to the camera, it generally focuses in pretty good on the coin. Now, while I was at my coin dealer today, he handed me this bag of dimes. I took this tape and label off of the bag. There were 7 of them for $2.10. $2.10 is about as cheap Mercury dimes I've been able to get this whole year. I think I got some for $2.05 at one point. Now, I didn't get a real good look at these because I'm figuring they're mostly 30s and 40s, or all 40s maybe. Yeah, they're all 40s. There's an F42S. See if I can get this to show. Oh, there's the S mint there. Hello, how you doing? Just talking about my treasure chest challenge and how I landed. This is a 43D, 7 dimes, $2.10 a piece, which is about as cheap a dime as I've been able to get. That's a Philadelphia. That's another Philadelphia, 42. These aren't really bad worn. They're probably just, that's a 44D. And the D marks right there. West Point Mint. Okay. That's a 42. And this one looks like someone took a magic marker to the front of it. It's Philadelphia. Okay, so I got an S mint and a couple D mints and some Philadelphias. All 40s, 7 of them, which goes into my treasure chest challenge along with this Morgan dollar. It's 1879 Philadelphia, I believe. I don't see a mint mark. I see some scratches where the mint mark would be. But it was very cheap. But anyway, for Frosty in his 1 ounce silver round that had this kind of design on it, That's why I would probably buy a silver one, because I think that's cool looking. Now, this is a 1955. It's a centavos denomination coin. Let's see, Cinquenta, whatever that means. It's a big copper coin. But anyway, that's most of what I wanted to cover. I'm going to show this again in case. Coin glass, I researched this a little bit. They have reproduction ones. The reproduction ones don't have frosting on this. And one of the ways you can tell if they faked a reproduction one into these is they'll sandblast the coins. But what will end up happening is this detail you see on this, the little dots around the edge of the coin and all that stuff, will be worn kind of bad and it won't look right. It has to have a frosty look pretty consistent on them, or else it's probably not a real one. Now, amber one like this isn't hugely collectible, and neither is this particular type of green. It's the blue stuff that in the red and stuff. And let me show you a blue one. Oops, bag. See, get seated here. This is a blue ashtray one. It's pretty heavy. It's got a Liberty Bell. And it's got the eagle with, I'll probably have to flip this way to read it. It's 1887. Okay. Then it's got the Colonial Soldier there. And then the Star of a Torch. Hold on a second. Okay, coin glass is several of these different type pieces that have these coin type shapes on them. It was made, I believe they started making it during the Depression and made it up until the 50s or so. And then they made a presidential coin glass one that was cobalt blue, but anyway, which is a lot darker blue than what this is. Now, they haven't made this type of glass in a while. This stuff used to be pretty popular, and there's all different kinds of pieces, from small pedestal glass like this to ones that have lids that look like a sugar dish, salt and pepper shakers, candlestick holders, giant urns, you name it. They had a bunch of different designs, and it's collectible. I mean, this particular one, if you went on eBay and tried to buy it today, would probably be about $20 to $25 range for a buy it now one. There's a one that's even bigger that has like a, right here in the middle has a raised section, and then like a big circle down, and then the edging. It's a cigar dish apparently, and it's $45 or so online on eBay. Now, they make it in a clear, they make it in amber and the green, they make it in a lighter, brighter type green, which is a little more collectible, and then they make it in ruby red, and then this light blue. That's the old 6 different colors, and that's what was collectible back then. Now, I've added $2 face to my treasure chest. Now, I did get this, which, I've seen these quite often. What happens is this jeweler guy, and he's a coin dealer too, him and his dad used to cut a lot of these. Now, I'm sure he's not the only one. They would cut the background out of it and make like this, and then put it in a pendant or some kind of bezel around the coin, and they wear it as, people would wear them as necklaces. They did it to Mercury dimes. They did it to Standing Liberties. They did it to these. I haven't really seen Morgan dollar done that way. It's probably because they're a little too pricey. Now I've seen some with holes drilled in them, but that's a whole different type of thing. And ones with a hole drilled in them, you can just wear it directly as a necklace. I actually got a couple examples like that. But that's what I mean by coin glass. It's this kind of stuff. These little frosted coin shapes on the side of the glass. Now, these smaller ones only have the eagle with the date and then the torch and star. Some of the other ones have Liberty Bells in that, and then this one has the Colonial Soldier right there, which they don't all have. I mean, the ones that have the big ashtrays like this, they all have them. I've seen a green one in person, and it's the lighter green than what this one is. This is like olive or emerald, not emerald, olive or military green, I guess. Hello, Aunt Laura. Just talking a little bit about this coin glass and talking to CMBT MDC 22. That name's a mouthful. But anyway, it's largely his fault because he made a video showing his coin glass. And I had to get some. Now, where'd that tag get off to? This is the question for you. If you can buy Mercury dimes at $2.10 a piece, would you buy them? And they're all 40s. I was showing off each individual one. This one's not worn real bad at all. It's a 43 Philadelphia for $2.10. Now, if it had been put in a card, he probably would have priced it at $2.25 or maybe even $2.50. You know, because when he sells raw coins, now this one he probably would have had at $2.25 just because it's really, it looks like someone took a magic marker to it almost. It's real dark, or it's just severe toning. But that was the cheapest ones he had, were about $2.25 today. And your answer is yes, you would buy that. That's cool. Let's put this comment up. The toothpick holder. Yeah, I got two different ones, the green and amber. And that's all I've seen of those. Most of the other ones I've seen, the red ones, they have like the nappy dish, that's the one with the handle on it, and covered bowls, the sugar bowl, the creamer, and then pedestal glass ones like the blue one I have. And she said hello to you. Anyway, I wasn't really planning on going live real long tonight because, well, it's Saturday night and there's actually some boxing on I might end up watching. But anyway, that's the question I have for anybody that watches this. Would you buy dimes for $2.10 a piece? Because I know if you go on AppMex and some of the other places and try to order them, they're about, I think they had them priced near $2.40 a coin in buy $10 face. Well, I didn't have to buy that big of a chunk. It's only 7 dimes. But considering I got over $20 of dimes in my treasure chest challenge, I haven't been buying very many dimes lately. But $2.10 I thought was a price I could well see buying. Now, Aunt Laura, I don't know if you saw it, but Frosty bought a 1-ounce silver round coin that has this kind of design on it. This one's a Mexican copper coin. Bought 17 and 27 Merc, $4 each. Were they better grade than probably what these are? Because if they're a little bit better shaped than what this is, then I could think you probably got a decent price. Because this one's probably good, maybe just above good, but it's probably not very good. Well, it might be very good. I don't know. They're not horribly worn. But $4 usually, if I buy a Mercury dime at $4 or above, it's usually choice extra fine or AU grade roughly. Now they're not actually graded ones. It just they looked at the coin guide and the coin guide said this has to be there, and they said yeah, it looks like it's there, so it's not really graded. But these aren't really worth grading unless yeah, a little better grade, then you probably did pretty good. Um, to grade any of these, you have to get some of the ones that are really low mintage, the key dates. Aunt Laura, I probably got $20 worth of Mercury dimes in my thing. I probably got most of the common date ones from the 40s and the 30s and some 20s and teens even. I might have enough in that loose. Oh, okay, yeah. The W actually refers to the guy who designed it, and it's right here on the front. Oh, I can't get it to focus very good. But the mint mark on these, if it has a mint, because Philadelphia doesn't have one, I showed it earlier. Where's that one? Here we go. Here's a D. Here's a good D one. The D is right down there by that staff. If I can get it held right and get the light to hit it, you can see the D right there, right next to the E in one and right next to that stalk and staff piece. That's where they put the mint marks on all these. This one's an S mint. If it'll focus good. Sometimes this works better than others. And given what I got to work with on this live stream, what it's showing me, this what I see through the screen ain't any bigger than an actual coin. So it ain't until I watch it back on a bigger screen TV that I can see what kind of details. And sometimes it comes out really good, and sometimes it doesn't come out that great. But yeah, that's where your mint marks on Mercury dimes are, on the reverse. Most of these Walkers, their mint mark is on the reverse too, but a couple of the early ones have them on the front, and they're a little bit like key date ones and a bit more expensive than what a lot of Walkers are, even worn. But let's see. Anything else I really want to talk about right away? Uh, yeah, now I have to relook at my dimes. Well, yeah, I mean, it does have the mint mark about where the Roosevelt. I got a Roosevelt dime over here somewhere. I know I do. Well, that ain't one. I thought I had a Roosevelt dime in this stack of pennies and U.S. coins back here in the corner, but it doesn't look like it. That's neat. I I always like to show these ones with the selling ships on them. This is a 1941 halfpenny British coin. It's got King George on this side. The sixth. Elizabeth's dad, who died kind of young, so that's how she was queen for 70 years. But that is the Golden Hind ship. This sailing ship that Sir Francis Drake sailed around the world was only about 102 foot long, 20 foot wide or so. It was not that big. Now, and this Caribbean States coin here is a different depiction of the same ship. Whoops. Had a coin fall off. Good thing it was only a loose Portuguese 50 escudos coin, not a valuable coin. But where was it? It was right here a second ago. Yeah, here we go. This, though, this particular ship does, that they put on this, got a roller, yeah. Well, you just do it. That's kind of what I did. I just started making the videos. Anyway, the noteworthy thing about these were they were about 196 foot long, give or take, and they had over 100 guns on the entire ship, including 56 cannon broadside. Had somebody been in a ship like this, the Golden Hind, which is 102 foot and had 22 guns, and they ran into this guy out in the middle of the ocean somewhere, and they picked a fight, they would be saying hello to Davy Jones, because 56 cannon fire from that thing would have made most any wooden ship into mincemeat and sunk it probably. I mean, because those cannonballs just rip right through that wood. I mean, it's not much of no real protection. Now, when they made the ironclad ships, they, in the Civil War, they had a battle between the two ironclads, and they bounced cannonballs off of each other for, I think it was a couple hours. Well, if they were able to fire the 56 cannon broadside on this all at the same time, it probably would make it roll some. I mean, the cannons they did roll back themselves, so they weren't like they were solidly mounted, not like the turret on a battleship, the newer ones, well, not newer anymore, because the last few battleships ever made were the Iowa class ones in World War II, and they're like around 70 something years old now. But when they fired, if they fired all 9 of their 16-inch cannons at the same time, it did roll the ship. And they could shoot upwards of about 20 miles or so. But that ain't nothing compared to how far away an aircraft carrier can be and deliver an airplane that drops bombs. So they quickly became obsolete because of it. And hence, you never seen anybody build more battleships. Now they built guided missile cruisers and destroyers, guided missile destroyers and all that other stuff that had cannons, but they didn't have 16-inch cannons on them. They had 5-inch, maybe a few might have had 8-inch cannons, but they didn't have big cannons anymore because the missiles did the job and they didn't need them, or at least they didn't think they need them. No, I think this Portuguese man of war would fire one. They had 3 gun decks. They'd probably fire one deck, and then fire a second deck, and then the third deck if needed. No, I was in the Army Reserve, not the Navy. So I did serve some. Could have went to the Gulf War, but got out just before it happened. My time was up. But I would have went and done what was necessary because that's what we did. But yeah, Mercury dimes for $2.10 pieces is cheap, because I've been able to get them lately. And I did get another Churchill coin today. My coin dealer handed it to me because he knows I kind of like them, and not too many other people buy them. Of course, then again, I usually buy them. I got a stack of at least 20 of them, maybe 25 total. I ought to bring them all together and put them on the table for a video, but it's probably not going to happen tonight. Well, I did a little research on them because I did a video about this Portuguese man of war ship and one about the Golden Hind, longer form videos to get more time on my view hours if people watched them, but it turns out they didn't watch them very much. I was going to do one about this coin and this ship. This is an Australian 50-cent coin. It's the Endeavour. I was going to do a video about it, read up on its history, what it did, what it's famous for. But, oh, you watched both of those videos? Yeah, I felt like they came out pretty good too, but why ain't you focusing? Well, we'll do it this way. And what I tell you, if you try to use these, you have to be really close to your camera lens and the coin pretty close to this, or else it doesn't work very good. You'll start getting stuff like this, and I can't get it to do nothing. No, you got to be real close. Gives you a pretty good look at this coin. It's the Endeavour. It's an Australian coin. Oh, I mean New Zealand. Sorry, New Zealand, 1978. It's not silver, but I love coins that have ship designs on them. I always have, especially these sailing ship ones. That's a neat coin. I'd buy more of these if I saw them. But to answer Frosty, because I told him in a comment on his video I'd buy a silver round with this kind of design on it, because he had one. He was showing. I don't know who made the coin, whether it's just a generic round with this kind of design on it or what. This is just a random world coin that was in a big box, and I was filling up the nautical box with these kind of coins, and it's full. I need to count them. I just haven't got around to doing it. I know how much the box weighs with all the coins in it, and it's pretty heavy. It's like a brick. Yeah, there are. I actually did have some that were made by the Marshall Islands that has like I think the Missouri's on one of them. They got Ohio class submarine, some other stuff. So fighting warship thing. Hold on a second. We got some time. This thing isn't buried, so I can kind of show what you got. You got this little cover thing, legendary fighting ships of the United States Navy. And then it tells you what ships they're depicting on the coins. The New Jersey, the Juno, the USS Enterprise, the United States, USS in the United States. But anyway, these are big copper nickel coins, $5 denomination on them. Supposedly legal tender. I'm gonna open up the box. Kind of move this. I'll just set this right here. And I'll pick this out. That's their depiction of the New Jersey on this. This is a really neat looking design. I'll give them that much. The artwork on these, they made a bunch of these over the years, different types. The artwork on this, this sculpting and to make the die and then to strike these coins is pretty impressive. Now let's see, where's the Enterprise? This Enterprise aircraft carrier, when it's the CV-6, World War II era aircraft carrier. And it's got an airplane taken right off the end of it here. Now what happened with this stuff, like I said, it's Marshall Islands. This is $5 on it somewhere, right there. Republic of the Marshall Islands. They sold these saying that this was legal tender in the Marshall Islands. And they made several different other designs. Yeah, how about this sailing ship, the USS United States. That's impeccable artwork. But the problem with these coins was that someone apparently took some to the Marshall Islands and tried to spend them, and the people that lived there wouldn't take them. They'd never seen them, probably. They might not even known that they were making these. Yeah. Here, let me go ahead and show you the whole set this way. It's 8 coins. Now, they did make these in $50 denominations, which were 1 ounce of silver. These are copper nickel ones, though. And this is, well, I thought it was Ohio, but it's the Louisville. It might be Ohio class. It's a submarine. It's pretty cool, too. You know, depicts a surface submarine. Let's see. And I was just talking about the monitor of the ironclads, and that's their depiction of it on this one. And I guess, oh wait, it's this one behind that one, I think. Maybe, I don't know. It's the ironclads fighting each other. The Merrimack, I think it was, and the Monitor. And they bounce cannonballs off each other for a couple hours, I think it was. This is the USS Olympia. I'm not exactly sure. I don't think this was a battleship. I think it might have been a submarine destroyer or something. The Fanning and USS Nichols. There's 2 ships depicted on this one right in the middle, and then one off in the background. It's a cool set. Well, what they did, I don't know who actually made the coins. And then the last coin in it is the Juno, which appears to be a dreadnought style battleship. It's got 3 big turrets right in the front. And that was a classic way they made the dreadnoughts. And there's a couple big guns off the end too, off the back. So I'm not sure where they made these. I couldn't tell you, but I do know that the USS Enterprise, that's a ship that they wanted to save it and make a museum out of it, but because it is actually one of the most decorated aircraft carriers during World War II. I think it got something like 20 battle stars or something, which is pretty impressive. They saw a lot of action, put it that way, because they were in the Navy before the war, and they served all the way to the end. And they wanted to make it into a museum ship, but there's at least 2, I think it is, of the Essex class World War II carriers that got turned into museum ships. The Intrepid, and I can't think of what the other one is. And then the USS Midway, which was built right after the World War II and modified a whole bunch of times. Because it was a straight deck carrier, just like this when it was first made. It was bigger. It's one of the biggest warships ever built until we made the Forestalls class, and which was quite a bit bigger. But then they modified it with an angled flight deck, and then they modified it further to make the angled deck a little bit bigger on the ship. By the time they were done, it looks like a big jigsaw puzzle almost, but it served the country for about, I want to say, 45 years or something. Piece of dust on it. But yeah, this particular set, I liked it, and they charge $5 a coin, so it's $40 to buy the set. And if you find one of these at a coin shop today, one of these kind of coins, they probably only ask 50 cents for them. They're just not worth anything. They're copper nickel. Now the silver ones, they would probably price them like a generic silver round. As long as it's, I think they were 3/9 silver. I don't know what it was, but it was 1 ounce of silver. But that sailing ship is awesome. United States. I think it and the Constitution are pretty much the same type ship, same size and perimeters. You can see the guns along the side. Now this had 44 guns, I think 22 a side or some such. And the thing about this was they sold it as it could outgun anything it couldn't outrun and could outrun anything it couldn't outgun. Now they maintain, I think it's the Constitution to this day, you know, maintain it as a sailing ship that the Navy sells. It's still commissioned. Now, it's not a warship, basically. It's a ceremonial thing for like Fleet Week and stuff like that. Anytime they have something going on, like Fleet Week, something seemed to be stuck on it. But anytime they have Fleet Week, they would have them out. And but that's what this is. It's some of the more modern ships than the older ones. And the battleship USS New Jersey is one of the Iowa class. Um, th- three three cannon turrets on this, 16-inch barrels. That's the diameter, so it's considerable. And then it's a 50 caliber barrel, which, when you hear 50 caliber, you think like 50 caliber machine gun. Well, that's not what that means with battleship guns. A battleship gun, what it means is you take the diameter of the round it shoots, 16-inch projectile, right? And then the length of the barrel is 50 times that. So it's like, I want to say 54-foot barrel or something like that. But they make calculators for 16 times 50. What the heck? That ain't right. 800 inches. 12. 66.666 foot barrel. Now, cleaning them was a pain. And loading them was a pain. Everything about them was kind of a pain. It was, using the guns. Now, when they relaunched them in the 80s, they added a bunch of guided missiles, tomahawks, that kind of stuff to it. So they weren't reliant so much on the cannons for any kind of protection, because they knew the cannons don't shoot far enough to prevent aircraft from an aircraft carrier getting to them. But they could sit off the shore and launch tomahawks that could go, I think, about 1,000 miles inland and blow something up. They're very precise. I'm sure they got stuff more precise today, but those worked. And the Missouri is out in Pearl Harbor. If you go to Hawaii and you go to Pearl Harbor, there's a memorial for the Pearl Harbor attacks, and it's right over the top of the Arizona, which sank, and they didn't raise it. And you can see the old ship underneath the water. And the Missouri's docked right next to it, above water, of course. And I believe it's a museum ship. You can tour and go on. Don't know what it costs. I don't, any of these ships, it costs money to go through them. I don't know what they charge typically, but. And the New Jersey's actually a museum ship too. So they got two of them as museum ship. The other two, I think, are in mothballs. They haven't decided to scrap them because building a new one would be during Pearl Harbor. I think 7 battleships got sank. and they raised most of them and patched them up and put them back to sea. So, because they didn't sink in real deep water. I mean, it's Pearl Harbor. It's not like out in the middle of the ocean. But we lost aircraft carriers during World War II. Small ones. None of the Essex class ones got sank. They made 24 of them, but the Independence class, Saipan class, and some of the other small escort ones, we lost some of them. We lost destroyers. I think we lost a few cruisers and heavy cruisers and maybe even a battleship. I don't remember. It's been a while since I read about how many ships got lost during the war, but we pretty much built a huge navy and defeated the Japanese, and the Germans surrendered before the Japanese surrendered. And now, well, they're actually our allies today, the Germans and the Japanese, because of other problems I'm not going to mention right now, but I think we all know who we're talking about. But yeah, I don't know how many ships got sank. U.S. war ships got sank during World War II, but it happens. I mean, you go out to sea in something and you get cornered by something with a lot more firepower, you're going to get sank, probably, unless you can run away. Excuse me. But I went a lot longer than I thought I was going to go tonight, but it tends to happen when people show up and start asking questions. I just start answering what I can. But yeah, it is kind of a nice set, and the box that came in is kind of nice. But dirty secret about these presentation boxes like this: you take coins to a coin dealer, they don't care about the box. They price these things for what the coins are worth, not what the box is worth. So this box, to buy a box like this to display, I don't know, say you wanted to put Morgan dollars in it instead of these, and you had cases like this to hold the Morgan, and you had eight Morgan dollars in it like that. Well, a coin dealer would look at it, see what you had, each different Morgan dollar, what kind of condition they're in, and then price the 8 for that price, and the box itself he wouldn't care about. Or at least most of them don't seem to have any, care or worry about presentation boxes. But I did like the way this looks. If I'd known it was going to be worthless, I probably wouldn't have bought it. I thought these things might appreciate, because I didn't think, they'd make very many. In this set, they didn't. And that's why I thought this might end up being collectible. This says right here, forever limited to 25,000 complete sets. So they did not make a whole lot. Now, they made some of the coins that weren't in a set, because I think, because I have it might be the Missouri, and that's the New Jersey. So that might be all they made of those. 25,000 is a pretty low mintage for any kind of coin. But unfortunately, it's really not worth anything to speak of. But it is a cool set anyway. I like it. I'm not going to worry about the fact that it's not worth anything. Anyway, anybody else got any questions? Because I'm willing to answer or try to answer a question if anybody else has a question. What, this? I didn't see that. No, it's not an unpeso. It's a sin cunita centavos. I'm not even sure how much that means. Might mean 25. I don't know. Um, it's a neat design though. 50? It means 50? Okay. Well, then now we know. Now, okay, cool. Now I know. I didn't know it was 50. I've got about two or three of these in that box. I would wrestle the box up here, but I'd have to move all this stuff because the box itself's pretty big and it's loaded with these kind of coins. Actually, this kind of coins. Coins like these. These are all random world coins, different designs. There's a Netherlands, Denmark, I guess. It's a Viking style ship on that one. Then, of course, the halfpenny, another halfpenny that's worn out and got a hole drilled in it. I mean, it's really worn out. You can't even see the date on it. And it is King George on it, but it's hard to make out. You know, different random world coins. I just dropped one again, including a few of these. This is from Rwanda and Burundi, 1961, got a line on it. It's 1 franc coin. You see the Burundi, and then over here, Rwanda. I picked those coins up. Find them. I know they're down here somewhere. But they were just these random world coins. That's a 67. It's one of the better looking ones of these. It does have kind of a weird dirt toning or something on it. Queen Elizabeth. The younger portrait, same portrait that is on the Churchill coin. Come on, focus for me. Anyway, you can see that, and then you can see it's the same portrait. Shoot, what else to talk about? I'm going to make a book recommendation for people. This book was written about 2,500 years ago. It's not real long. It's interesting reading, and they still study it in Moore College. It's a very interesting read. So that's a book recommendation I have to read it because it tells you a bunch of stuff about war and fighting that you would need to know. I didn't have to read it when I was in the military, but okay, Marines commemorative $1 non-proof with COA and certificate of authenticity and box for $38. I don't think I have a Marines thing. I do have a 1 ounce Apollo moon mission. Uh, coin round. I don't think it's a legal tender. It's just a 1 ounce of silver. Where did them coins actually get off to? Because I don't see them. I know they're down here, though they couldn't went too far. It's kind of like a boxed in area. Your son was in the Marine Corps, Semper Fi. Gung ho. But I wasn't, but I respect Marines because they generally did a lot of the fighting. Now, if you do buy one of these, make different sizes. This particular one has 10 by 20 and a half, and it seems to work really good. Yeah, I have a video for it on my channel somewhere. This is a triplet, and I bought it from Coin Help You. You know, Daniel from Coin Help You, his website, along with some other stuff I bought. and it came well packed and all that stuff. And this thing seems to work really good on doing this. I have a smaller one that's like 18, and it don't seem to work as good as this. This is a pretty good one for the price it was. I'm real happy with it. Um, anyway, I think I'm going to go ahead and pull this down for the night. Don't need to go over an hour when something I was only really planning on talking for about 10 minutes. Yeah, it always happens. But I will leave this up. If you missed something in it, you can rewind it and scroll around through it, find something you want to look at if you want to look at it again. Well, this, I don't know what he charges for these now, but it was $6 when I bought it, which isn't a real bad price. You can buy some of the ones that are a lot more expensive, Bosch and Loms and stuff. But it's probably around your house somewhere. I think I've got at least two other ones, and they're one of them's, like I said, it's a 16 millimeter, and it don't work very good. So, or 18 millimeter, I'm sorry, 10x. This is 10x at 20 and a half, and it seems to work really well. Have a good night. Well, you have a good night too, Aunt Laura. And I hope everybody else has a good night. I'm just going to go ahead and end it for now because we went 52 minutes almost. But have a good night, people.